Oh, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another article reaction video. Today, we're going to talk about free agency because there's still a lot of good free agents on the market. And Bleacher Report came out with an article, one free agent still on the market who can help out each NFL team in 2026. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to just kind of give my thoughts and 2 cents on each player mentioned here. I might do like updated free agency predictions or something like that later this week as well. So be on the lookout for that. This is going to go in city or state alphabetical order. So we're going to start off with the Cardinals. We're going to end with like the Titans or one of those teams as well. So if you want to jump to your favorite team, that's how it's going to go. The Arizona Cardinals are going to land Jawan Taylor, or at least that's who they think they should add right now. The Arizona Cardinals, like, they spent a little bit this offseason. It was nothing splashy. Like, Isaac Sumalo had the biggest deal. They get him from the Steelers. I do like Tower Algier in a vacuum. It's just like, I think he's going to put up good fantasy numbers. I think he's going to be productive, and he was a great backup for Atlanta. So honestly, adding like another tackle, something they could definitely need, is fine with me. But I'd rather Jawan Taylor be a bridge gap tackle, where maybe you're thinking about Francis Mainoa at number 3, because I still have no idea what the Cardinals are going to do at 3. Feels like the Jets are going to take Arvel Reese at 2. Like, are the Cardinals ballsy enough to take Ty Simpson at 3? I don't think so. I mean, that would be insane. I can't even imagine. Like, that would, I think, be more shocking than like Daniel Jones going in the top 10 to the Giants back in 2019. So it's a possibility. And if they do think they're going to go that route, maybe you take a swing on Jawan Taylor, who was very disappointing in Kansas City when they paid him a lot of money. But if you think he could fit in your run blocking scheme for Tower Algier and a returning James Conner next year, who's hopefully healthy, go for it, right? Like, you at least want to be somewhat competitive next year with Mike LaFleur in his first year as the head coach. Logan Wilson to the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons ended up losing Caden Ellis this offseason. I mean, they have some question marks. What's going on with like James Pierce Jr.? Is he going to be suspended? They lose Caden Ellis to a division rival. They don't really, like, they spend on Christian Harris. They don't really have like a locked in off-ball linebacker. The Falcons like just didn't really spend a lot of money this offseason too, because they have the Kirk Cousins cap hit that's about to be affecting them going forward. And there's maybe a Pitts extension down the line, a Bijan, Drake London extensions. Obviously, Atlanta gets Logan Wilson, who got traded from like the worst defense in the Cincinnati Bengals on for a seventh rounder. But I'm like pretty sure that Logan Wilson retired. So I don't know if Logan Wilson is coming out of retirement for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think they mention anything about him retiring here. So maybe that's just an error on the article, but I'm pretty sure he retired. I remember seeing that he retired at 29. So yeah, I don't think Atlanta is going to be picking him up if I had to guess. So Baltimore going for Ethan Posich, who's going to help them out on the offensive line. I mean, definitely, right? Not sure what OC is. He an offensive coordinator? Was that supposed to be an OG there? Maybe. So Baltimore ends up losing Tyler Linderbaum this offseason, but they pick up John Simpson. This could be a team that maybe addresses offensive line with the 14th overall pick. Maybe they like Spencer Fano. He might fall. Maybe they really like Vega Ione from Penn State, because I think he'll be there at 14. You never know, though, because offensive line will go quicker than you think. Like Tyler Booker last year, Kelvin Banks, Membu Campbell, all these guys like went early in the draft, and then you had like Gray Zabel go maybe a little bit higher than expected. So maybe Baltimore is thinking, okay, we might not end up getting a big Ione. We can add to the offensive line. And they do mention kind of getting those guys in mock drafts. For Buffalo, Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, Juju is just like a reliable like 4th or 5th wide receiver right now. As a wide receiver 3, I don't really love that. I mean, they add Trent Sherfield, sure, but they trade for DJ Moore this offseason. You still have Keon Coleman on your roster. You still have Khalil Shakir. You probably, I think they still have Josh Palmer on their roster as well. I guess like you have a couple different options going forward next year. They're going to probably have like a hodgepodge after Shakir and Moore as the main targets. I mean, you still have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. So Juju's just a reliable, like I said, like 4th wide receiver option, sure. Like, you know what? I'm glad he's still kicking. As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I loved watching him back in 2018 or 17 was his like really big year for Pittsburgh as a rookie. It might have been 2017. He was so much fun to watch. And you know what? He was so young too. I think he was like one of the youngest receivers ever drafted. Carolina going Hassan Reddick here in free agency. Reddick, I guess you could say, was disappointing last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, Reddick Shout out Temple, my alma mater. I want him to just be like a stud every single year just because he's a former Temple Owl, but maybe a little disappointing over the last few years. He made his name for himself, Arizona, Philadelphia, and I feel like the one-year deal just did not work out in Tampa Bay, so maybe he ends up going to a division rival in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Carolina could definitely add another edge rusher. Like, they gave big-time money to Jalen Phillips. They signed some of their guys going forward. They have Nick Scordon coming back next year, or coming back, but he was drafted a year ago. They hope maybe a breakout year for him. Doesn't hurt to maybe get in a veteran there, as like that's kind of like the Jadeveon Clowney mindset for Carolina over the last few years. Chicago going Von Miller. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, Von Miller, 35 years old. I mean, Washington is not bringing him back. They wanted to get younger defensively this offseason. Like, they signed Odafe Owe, Leo Chanel, a couple corners, Quavon Chason, as I believe. Yeah, Von Miller, Bobby Wagner, like all these guys north of 30 or close to it are free agents. Von Miller is actually 37. I don't really know if I like that for Chicago, a team that definitely overhauled their defense in a couple different ways. They do sign some guys, but a lot of guys they either cut or didn't re-sign. Tremaine Edmonds got cut. All the safeties are gone. Deshaun Wright's gone as well. Dominique Robinson's gone. There's even some guys out there still that like appeared on their defense last year. I think Chicago's going to go defense late in the first round, like the Christian Millers of the world. Maybe Caleb Banks falls with his injury. TJ Parker, Peter Woods, the Clemson guys could be available to them, where I think that's who they can look at. I mean, if you're signing Von Miller to like a one-year deal, sure, and you hope you can get something out of him, but I wouldn't rely on him too much at 37 years old next year. Cincinnati going Bryce Huff. Honestly, Bryce Huff, I would say, was worth it for San Francisco last year. Now, like, everybody on that defensive line got hurt. He had 10 sacks, but like they mentioned, oh no, he had 10 sacks in 2023. His season was a disappointment. I thought it was fine. I mean, also, like, when Nick Bosa goes down, Michael Williams goes down, it's basically like, all right, we have to focus on Bryce Huff, and that's really it. I mean, he's maybe not the player that he was back in Philadelphia, where he broke out a couple years ago, but I do feel like Cincinnati should take flyers on these guys. They add Boye Mafe this offseason. Take Bryce Huff. Like, they could be a team that should be adding Jadeveon Clowney. Sure, Von Miller on a one-year deal. Hassan Reddick on a one-year deal as well. Like, they need as much help as they can get. And honestly, like, you have Bryce Huff, Boye Mafe, Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart. Two of those guys have to be good for you next year, right? At least two. For Cleveland, it's Taylor Decker. Just get another veteran offensive lineman this offseason. I mean, they just reworked Myles Garrett's contract, so they have about $21 million in cap space. How about their owner, Jimmy Haslam, saying there's a really good chance that Deshaun Watson's their week one quarterback? Oh, man, just put it to rest. Just put it to rest. But honestly, it just feels like that's been their MO for the last few years, is just having older offensive linemen, where a lot of the guys left this offseason, but I mean, I guess like Zion Johnson's still fairly young, who they gave big money to, but like Tevin Jenkins, a veteran, Elton Jenkins is a veteran. They bring in Titus Howard in a trade. They lose Wyatt Teller, who was a little bit older. Jack Conklin's still in the market. He's older. Joel Bitonio, older as well. Cam Robinson, about 30 years old. So why not? Fits the MO. Go out and get Taylor Decker. Sure. I wonder if the Browns, like, would they take Francis Maino if he's on the board? They do own another first-round pick from the Jaguars. Would they look at like the tier 2 of offensive linemen, Blake Miller, Big Ione, Spencer Fano, Kale Lomu, like one of those guys later in the first round? For Dallas, it's Bobby Okereke. Honestly, like, sure, he's probably better than Logan Wilson and what he'll be next year. I was a little shocked when the Giants cut him, but it made more sense when they went out and got Tremaine Edmonds. The Cowboys were pretty disappointing this offseason. I mean, they didn't really make, like, the biggest splash was Jalen Thompson, a safety from the Arizona Cardinals, and they didn't get like a big time edge rusher. They didn't make a Max Crosby trade or anything like that. They actually traded away Odigizua to the San Francisco 49ers. So they need more linebacker help, sure. I do wonder if the Cowboys are going to go Sonny Styles, CJ Allen, like two legitimate first round talents at number, what are they, 12 and 20 with one of those picks. More the merrier, though. They got to just keep addressing defense. For Denver, it's Bobby Wagner. Are we sure? I mean, Denver, are they the only team to not sign an external free agent still? Okay, no, they got Tyson Anderson. Not too familiar with him, a safety from the Cincinnati Bengals. But a lot of the guys they brought back, they make a big trade for Jalen Waddle. But Dre Greenwald, they cut. He's back in San Francisco. John Franklin Myers, they, I guess, couldn't afford or didn't want to pay $21 million. So he ends up going to Tennessee. So you get Bobby Wagner. He might be like the same as Dre Greenwald next year. Yeah. You bring back Alex Singleton. Like, if you don't need him to play 95% of snaps, sure. if he's just going to be like a veteran in the locker room, he could play 30% of snaps or something like that, where you're not running the older guy into the ground, sure, but like, how much appeal is there in a 35-year-old linebacker at this point when you have Super Bowl aspirations? It didn't work out for Washington last year. Do we think he's going to bounce back this year? I'm not too sure. Detroit, Joel Bitonio. I mean, this is a team that definitely needs to add more to their offensive line. There's a chance they might move Penei Sewell on the opposite end of the offensive line as well. I do like the Cade Mays pickup. I thought that could be, like, everything I read about Cade Mays could be a big loss for the Carolina Panthers next year. And he was a big part of their, like, Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard rushing attack. I know Chuba wasn't great. They add Isaiah Pacheco. They lose some guys in free agency. So if they can add, like, one more interior offensive lineman, sure. They're high on Tate Ratledge next year. You have Penei Sewell. I mean, like, yeah, Taylor Decker, they're not bringing back at 32 years old. Did they lose out on anybody already on the offensive line? No. A lot of the defensive guys kind of ended up signing elsewhere. So we'll see. They should go probably offensive line in the first round as well. Maybe they end up going edge rusher. Green Bay going for Leonard Floyd. I feel like after moving on from Rashawn Gary this offseason, not an edge rusher, but like Quay Walker as well, you could definitely look to add to the front seven. Apparently, Micah Parsons might miss the first few weeks of the year as well. And I do feel like Leonard Floyd, being on the Falcons last year, like just a solid veteran option, right? It's just like, who out of like the Leonard Floyds, the Bryce Huffs, the Hassan Reddicks of the world, the Jadeveon Clowneys, these older edge rushers can give you some explosive plays that don't have to be relied on every single snap and every single down. But hey, third down, you're sending the house, bring them on the field. They lost some guys this offseason, and they have about $22 million, it looks like, in cap space. For Houston, you're getting Adoree Jackson, just adding to that secondary. They added Reed Blankenship this offseason. I mean, this is still one of the best secondaries in the league. I think like all the veteran offensive linemen we've talked about here, they're getting one-year deals. Go out and get a veteran offensive lineman. For Houston, they have added like Braden Smith this offseason. But if you look at just maybe some of the top offensive linemen on the market, it's probably guys on the older side. Like we talked about Juwan Taylor, Taylor Decker already, like Jack Conklin, Jonah Williams at 28. It's just like, can you trust some of these guys' medicals? How do you think they're going to look aging? Cam Robinson. I mean, these aren't like fun names to really bring in. Graham Glass now 33 years old, but I think it's more so them adding like a minimum veteran offensive lineman. For Indianapolis, it's Derek Barnett, another edge rusher, former first-round pick. Hey, still kicking as well. Shout out to Derek Barnett. For Indianapolis, you ended up losing Kwity Paye this offseason. He goes to the Raiders. So sign a one-year veteran that can maybe give you 8 sacks next year. Like that's the highest upside. And you're just like hoping that is the possible outcome. But for a team that doesn't own their first round pick this year or next year from the Sauce Gardner trade, you kind of need to hit these moves on the margins. For Jacksonville, it's Calais Campbell. Reunion, sure. Homecoming, sure. Calais Campbell still kicking, man. Still kicking. I hope he's not back in Arizona next year. He's going to turn 40 next year. Dude, shout out to him. Is he going to accumulate enough numbers to make it to the NFL Hall of Fame? Maybe. 6-time Pro Bowler. He had 6.5 sacks last year, 43 tackles. Sure. Reunion in Jacksonville. You have Hines Allen. You have Trayvon Walker. Let him be just a rotational guy on that defensive line. Kansas City, Stephon Diggs. Okay. It's a weird time in Kansas City. So we have one guy with legal trouble in Rashee Rice. Let's go get another one in Stephon Diggs. Can there be somebody a little bit more reliable? Like, can we get Jawan Jennings in Kansas City? I mean, like, the Tyreek Hill, the Stephon Diggs, do we trust that? Can we use Deebo Samuel as a gadget guy? But we kind of have Xavier Worthy for that. I mean, yeah, the wide receiver market isn't great. Stephon Diggs is like the healthiest guy here, maybe, but is he going to be suspended? I don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs. I feel like there's like a new legal thing either way, but desperate times call for desperate measures. They might not draft a receiver in the first round. Like maybe they take Carnell Tate or Tyson at 9, but I feel like they're going to be an edge rusher team. Maybe they take an offensive lineman with their later first round pick, with Jalen Moore being a free agent next year. But they need another receiver, man. Like I'm not sold on Noah Gray, Kelsey. If Noah Gray's even still, is Noah Gray even still on the Kansas City Chiefs, or was he a free agent? I think he's still there. Tight end, yeah, I think he's still there. So you have Noah Gray, you have Travis Kelsey, you have Kenneth Walker now. They need another receiver. Is that going to be Stephon Diggs? We'll see. I mean, if I looked at the available, like they had Jawan Jennings there, correct? Jawan Jennings. Yeah, 28 years old. Like, I would take a swing on him. What's his market value? They have him at $22 million. I don't think he's getting that. Maybe on a 1 to 2 year deal. For Vegas, Kirk Cousins, this makes a ton of sense. Yeah, like Kirk Cousins could be your veteran quarterback for Mendoza. He could fit the style of Clint Kubiak coming over from like Sam Darnold. Both I guess Cousins and Darnold spent time together in Minnesota, where I believe he was the quarterback coach for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. I'm not sure if they mentioned that here, but I feel like this is a perfect bridge quarterback for Mendoza. Mendoza can sit out the first 8 to 10 weeks. And who knows? Like, I thought Kirk Cousins wasn't awful for the Falcons down the stretch. They actually looked maybe some of their best last year towards the end of the year. He's not the player he used to be, but he's now, what, 2 years removed from the Achilles tear? Maybe he'll be fine next year. This one makes a ton of sense when he eventually becomes a free agent, because I don't think he's technically, maybe he's technically cut. Yeah. So for the Chargers, right, next up we have Kevin Zeitler. Makes sense for the Chargers with all their like rotating offensive linemen last offseason. I mean, the Chargers do add to the offensive line this offseason. They lose Becton, excuse me. They bring in Tyler Biadasz. They bring in Cole Strange. Yeah, like they rotating guys. Like this would be a Vega Ione team to me. But if they maybe want to draft, I don't know if they would draft a receiver in the first round, or maybe they go defense. Like Zeitler makes sense. It's just a veteran under Mike McDonald going forward. For the Rams, Keenan Allen, whoa, stealing him from Los Angeles, staying in the same arena, going from SoFi to SoFi. I mean, I think Los Angeles could definitely look for another receiver. I think they're going to be in the market. I thought maybe late in the first round, but they traded for Trent McDuffie. I mean, the Rams didn't do a whole lot in free agency outside of Jalen Watson, but they trade for Trent McDuffie, which makes me think, okay, they're not taking a corner at 14. They can go offensive line. They can go Ty Simpson. And they could definitely go like Jordan Tyson if he's on the board, or Mekhi Lemon, because how many years left do you think Devontae Adams has at a high level? They're about to pay Puka Nacua a lot of money, as long as he's not like another TMZ report. So you get a good, reliable veteran in Keenan Allen. For Miami, AJ Epineza, I believe he just got his medical failed, in Cleveland. But if he's just going to get a veteran minimum, sure, you take the former second rounder, I believe in the 2020 draft out of Iowa. Minnesota, Graham Glasnow stays in the NFC North. There's just like a lot of veteran offensive linemen that could be moved, I guess, over the next like week or so. Like, what are these guys realistically going to get? Like, they could get a nice 2-year deal on paper, but it's really a 1-year deal, and you just see if they are going to fall off a cliff next year. Ryan Kelly did retire, so boom, there you go. For New England, Deebo Samuel, yeah, I think so. I wonder what team Deebo's going to end up on. I feel like there could be a reunion in San Fran. Well, San Fran did get Mike Evans, and they got Christian Kirk, right? They have Ricky Pearsall. They have some younger guys. You have George Kittle. I don't think that they are going to. Did they sign a running back? Patrick Taylor? Like, I know. So they lose Brian Robinson. He's in Atlanta. I guess, like, you have some young guys, but I know they want to give a lesser workload to McCaffrey. I wonder, like, who are the best, like, running backs on the market? Because they could look at signing maybe a running back if they want to take some of the load off McCaffrey's back. Mixon, I don't know. Najee, little change of pace, you could say, than Christian McCaffrey. Like, there's plenty of guys like Antonio Gibson throw a 1-year deal at. Jeremy McNichols thought was fine last year, throw a 1-year deal at. Some younger guys as well. Michael Carter, he had a brief like moment or two for Arizona last year. Going forward, Miles Sanders, Amir Abdul is still kicking at 33 years old. I wonder if they're going to draft a running back. But Deebo, or I guess, I'm talking about San Fran, but let me talk about New England. They cut Stephon Diggs. They pay Romeo Doubs. They're a team that could definitely look at Juwan Jennings as well. They definitely need some type of receiving help this offseason, because Diggs was like their guy last year. And like, do you believe in the Booty and the Pop Douglas and the Keyshawn Williams or Kyle Williams of the world? We'll see. They got to get, I think, another target for Drake May. And I think this actually could be a nice option for them as a veteran if it's a 1-year deal. For the Saints, Cameron Jordan, I mean, is he gone? Is he not gone? I thought he wasn't going to be gone, but the Saints should be more competitive. And I feel like that could make for a good reunion there in New Orleans. They also need another receiver. I know they don't really have a ton of cap space, and they paid Travis Etienne. They paid David Edwards this offseason, Caden Ellis as well. They have a top 10 pick they're about to inherit, so maybe they end up drafting a receiver there. But I'd like to see a veteran receiver in New Orleans for Tyler Shuck. This is like Devon Vele, or it's not a great wide receiver room after Olave. For the Giants, DJ Reader. I mean, you're just adding to that defensive line, 2 DTs for John Harbaugh going forward. I think I called him DeMarcus Lawrence in my regrade. I meant to say Dexter Lawrence, obviously, but this is just another formidable option for the Giants defensive line, where they just did not move on from Kayvon Thibodeau this offseason. Maybe they still do on the night of the draft, but he's just still kicking. He's going to be on the 5th-year option, I believe, next year. And they have a lot of new and old faces. I wonder where the Giants are going to go in the draft as well. Is it going to be like a Jeremiah Love? Is it going to be a receiver? Is it going to be an offensive lineman? All are possibilities for the Jets. Brandon Cooks. They need receiver help for sure. I mean, the Jets, like, it's going to be Geno Smith as their quarterback next year. Maybe they end up drafting one. They got to get some help for Geno, whoever their quarterback is going to be. They didn't really address anything offensively. No receivers that they ended up signing this offseason. I guess you have Garrett Wilson and you have Adonai Mitchell, who they picked up in the Sauce Gardner trade. I thought Mason Taylor looked fine last year. They lose some offensive linemen in Simpson and Vera Tucker. So could this be like a Vega-Ione team? Potentially. It's just like, yeah, Brandon Cooks though, like, can we get somebody a little bit better than Brandon Cooks at his age? I'm going to keep throwing out Jawan Jennings. Like, I don't even know at this point. Like, what Jets fans, like, would you rather go 10-7 next year, lose in the wild card round, or at least flirt with a playoff spot, or just go 3-14 and have the number 1 pick and hopefully a better 27 draft class? In terms of quarterback, Clelin Ferrell here going to the Eagles here, a former top 5 pick to the Raiders back in that 2019 draft. Thankfully, they were able to get Max Crosby a couple rounds later. The Eagles should definitely keep adding to their front 7, and just like another edge rusher could be great. They've had a lot of guys leave over the last few years. I don't think, like, they lose Phillips, they lose the linebacker and Dean. They bring in like a 1-year deal from Arizona, or excuse me, from Atlanta. They add to the secondary in Jones and Woolen. I feel like, yeah, get another veteran there, and maybe there's a Bryce Huff reunion or a Hassan Reddick reunion for the Steelers. Mekhi Becton. I mean, Becton was good for the Eagles a couple years ago. He was not good for the Chargers last year. I think he was banged up though. Like, sure, I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm a little bit more biased towards this. You lose Sumalo. You have some younger guys on that offensive line. I mean, I have no idea if they're going to roll into next year with Broderick Jones. The Steelers could draft an offensive lineman as well in the first 2 rounds. I wouldn't mind another receiver. Yeah, I'm fine with Mekhi Becton, and if it's a 1-year deal, see if you can maybe buy low on him. Joey Bosa going to the Niners. I mean, it's cool. Joey and Nick playing together. Why not? Like, the Niners just need, like, veterans there. They add Odigizua this offseason. Did they sign? I was talking about them earlier. Did they sign an edge rusher? Like, they bring back Dre Greenlaw. They haven't really signed an edge rusher. You have Mike Williams getting healthy next year with Nick Bosa. Why not sign his brother? Seattle, Najee Harris. Yeah, I think they got to add some type of running back. They signed Emmanuel Wilson. I know Najee's coming off an ACL tear, but he's not going to cost you more than the veteran minimum. And do you feel like him and Charbonnet could be a good change of pace with each other? And Emmanuel Wilson gives you some options. I'd rather you sign Najee or like another veteran running back than drafting one in the first 2 rounds. Maybe round 3 or onwards they could do. For Tampa, Marshawn Lattimore. So they lose Jamel Dean to the Pittsburgh Steelers. If we're looking at Tampa here, they add Anzalone. They add Kenneth Gainwell, Ashawn Robinson. They could look to add another receiver. It's Emeka Buka, it's Godwin, it's McMillan, just like an option, but you get Lattimore with maybe some of the younger guys, hopefully blossoming for you next year. Tennessee, Jawan Jennings, yes, I'm all over this. Like DK, Iron Maynor, Wando Robinson, Jawan Jennings, he gets to reunite with Robert Saleh. Not like Saleh coached him, because he's a defensive guy from San Fran, but it gives you a viable, another receiving weapon for Cam Ward. I just want to see them maximize Cam Ward next year, and I think Jawan Jennings can only help you going forward. Just give him like a high AAV 2-year deal. You have $63 million in cap. You can maybe cut him next year if it doesn't work out, but I just don't think it wouldn't work out as long as he can stay healthy. And then for Washington, Trayvon Diggs, so he stays in the division. I mean, I don't really like this that much. Sure, like if it's a 1-year deal flyer, you take it. They added Meek Robertson, who could definitely be volatile in your secondary going forward. Lattimore is no longer there. Maybe Diggs, hopefully staying healthy, could be fine. Maybe he wants to prove Dallas wrong for cutting him, stays within the division. So that was one free agent for every NFL team that could still help them out in 2026. Let me know if you guys did enjoy by dropping a thumbs up. Might do another free agency type video out later this week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.